Bugged hero items in Dota 2 can cost thousands of dollars, but in this video I'm going to explain a very wild cosmetic hero bug for two different heroes which require regular cosmetics that cost just a couple of cents. This is the first video in a 5-part series that I'm going to be releasing over the coming 5 days. Every 24 hours I'm going to drop a new video featuring a brand new Dota 2 bug or trick which I've recently been working on, as well as a bunch of other small tips and tricks related to Dota 2 inventories and cosmetics. So please subscribe, turn on your notifications, and check back tomorrow for the next video to hopefully learn something new or see something that you've never seen before about Dota 2 items and cosmetics. Today's video focuses on two crazy cosmetic bugs for Shadow Shaman and Death Prophet. The best bug of these in my opinion is the Death Prophet glitch, which allows you to load one of her wing cosmetics onto her hero model in a couple of different very strange ways. The most interesting of these are this one, which looks like a wheelbarrow in front of the hero. This bugged model loads onto the actual hero in the actual Dota game, meaning everyone on your team, everyone on the enemy team, and your client side can see this glitch. The downside is that unfortunately, this bug requires a couple of cosmetic items and one of them is from a cash set in 2023. But at the end of this video, I'm going to explain how people buy and trade cash sets even though they're trade locked. However, you can still do the Shadow Shaman bug up next with just a few cheap items. This Death Prophet bug requires two main items, the first being the Draconic Requiem legs from Crownfall, which are very cheap and cost about 5 cents, and then the important item is the Darkwood Eulogy belt, which comes from a cash set currently trading within traders for around 1 to 2 USD. It's a set from the 2023 Collector's Cash Treasure. So once you equip those two items, you will now need a third item to trigger one of the different bugged model functions that exist. For the crazy wheelbarrow wings, you need the Augur's armor, which is another 3-cent item. Once you equip those 3 items, that's the Draconic Requiem legs, the Darkwood Eulogy belt, and the Augur's armor, and load into the game, this bug should trigger. There is one other item that triggers the specific wheelbarrow variant of this bug if you don't like the way that the Augur's armor looks, which is the Mantle of Shaded Eulogy, so you can also use that item in place of the Augur's armor. And that's how you trigger this insane looking bug on Death Prophet. This is one of the craziest looking hero bugs that I've known for a very long time that you can trigger with just a couple of items. There are 2 other variations of this bug that you can trigger with a couple of different cosmetics in place of the Augur's armor. To trigger the other versions, one of them is the Feast of Forlorn armor, which loads her wings onto her head sideways, kind of like Antler's rotated 90 degrees. That's a really awesome variant as well, which would be a really crazy bug in its own right if the wheelbarrow version didn't exist. It looks really cool, and this is also something you should try out. Finally, there's the Robe of Winter's Revenant, which will load both of her wings onto her back, giving you double wings, and basically almost all other back pieces will trigger the bug in this same way. For some credit, this bug was posted quite a few times on the Dota 2 GitHub by a bunch of different people, and I'm just going to post a couple of their usernames on screen, which is where I originally found this problem. This is the Shadow Shaman bug, and this is what's known in Dota 2 demos as stretchies, where most cosmetics are stretched at certain vectors when the game is paused and subsequently skipped forward. You might have noticed this when watching demos in the past, but it's very rare that you trigger this in an actual Dota 2 game. This bug with a couple of cheap cosmetics can reliably trigger this issue on this hero, which is a very strange thing to see in a real Dota game, and it's very cheap to do and requires just a couple of cents. Firstly, you will need the Eyes in the Endless Dark headpiece from Crownfall, which costs around 6 cents, and finally the mysterious Vagabond's pack belt piece, which is also under 5 cents. Importantly, however, it has been reported to Valve multiple times on our GitHub already, and at the end of the day, it only harms you in a game. So those are the 2 items you need, and this is what it looks like. I think you should give it a try. And before I talk about cash treasures, don't forget to check back to my channel tomorrow for the next video that I'll be posting about a brand new bug that I discovered, which is really interesting and I think you're gonna wanna see. Finally, to celebrate 5,000 subscribers, I have a giveaway on my Discord which will end around the time my final video in this series is posted, so check the link in the description to enter to win my 5,000 subscriber Celebration Unusual Courier, which looks awesome and the entry is completely free. Lastly, cash treasures are probably the single most traded type of items when it comes to storefronts being run by individual Dota traders nowadays, as storefronts selling arcanas or other middle valued items around $20–30 simply aren't worth the time to run anymore, and it's incredibly tough to make any any profit doing so. However, cash sets are where the trader storefronts currently thrive. As you probably know, cash treasures aren't tradable and aren't marketable, which leads most players to believe that they are impossible to obtain from another account after they are no longer for sale. However, that isn't exactly true. Importantly, cash treasures are still giftable to friends. So, this underground market functions by traders making purchases of caches on release in mass and selling them slowly over time to make profits on individual sets. Some people have been doing this for many years, so there are a few traders which have stock of some of the absolutely oldest cash treasures in the game, which you will definitely pay a premium for due to their age, but more importantly, the common cash treasures are surprisingly inexpensive. The problem, however, is to gift an item to someone, you have to have been on their friends list for 30 days, which is the main barrier for entry to someone like you purchasing a cash treasure from somebody else. But if you're a collector of Dota 2 items, or you're just missing a specific set that you really want from a couple of years ago from an old cache, it's worth biting the bullet now and adding a cash store seller to your friends list today and starting that 30-day timer. There are tons of reputable cash sellers on my Discord server, and over there they will help you find whatever set it is that you need, but buying cash sets isn't exactly straightforward, because you'll have to pay for the item in a separate moment to when you actually receive the item, which is probably one of the leading cause of scams in all of Dota 2 trading and has been for quite some time. So it's best to use a middleman or only purchase from 100% reputable sellers, which you will be able to find on my Discord just by asking around and checking their rep. There is a website which people can post their cash sets that they currently have for sale, and it's a good resource for helping find rough market values for a cash set that you're looking for, but keep in mind that anyone can list on this website, so there are scammers who have posted items on here hoping to bait people to add them to their friends list, and likewise the only actual prices you should look at on GiftX are those posted by actually reputable sellers with a long sale history and good reputation. If you need help with any of this or purchasing cash sets, feel free to ask in my Discord, someone will definitely help you out. I do not sell cash treasures or items myself, I do not trade items for real world cash from my inventory, so adding me to your friends list for this reason isn't going to be helpful. Thank you so much for watching my first video of my brand new series. Thank you so much to my YouTube members, you support my channel immensely. Please leave a like on the video, comment down below if you have any thoughts on this topic or are excited for the next videos coming, and again, thank you so much for watching and subscribing to the channel.